Habits. This is Amy Thomson, and I'm here to help bring you happiness, success, and harmony in your home, in your family, and in your entire organization. We have a very special guest today. His name is Harrison Klein. I met him, I believe, through Mikey Adam Cohen, who I've absolutely loved for many, many years. If you don't know who he is, you should look him up on Facebook. But Harrison recently came to the Creative Collaboration Summit. He made a profound impact with the guests there. I had to bring him on the show. So, Harrison, will you tell people a little bit about yourself and who you are?
Um, yeah. So thank you, Amy, for having me. This is going to be fun, and I am basically a mystical, I guess, guide through a lot of different realms of self-actualization, through the process of uh, prosperity, through the process of awakening, through the process of connections and just life, um, self mastery of different sorts and different kinds. So as we go through the process, basically I help people, I guide people along this journey, and especially for people who are going through the dark night of the soul, who are depressed, who are difficult in situations, and I take them to their happiness. I take them to their prosperity. I take them to their through their internal mistakes and up to their internal abundance. And also external abundance. So we do a lot of really good stuff. I'm best known for the fact that I can create instant transformation, and part of my purpose for being here today is to help your people get as much instant transformation as possible. And hopefully by the end of this session, we will have at least some people on this call getting instant transformation. So that's pretty cool, and that's what separates me from most everybody else out there. So there
Yeah,
you
it definitely does separate you, Harrison, because when people usually come to the show, they're not thinking about the immediate transformation that they're going to give to the audience. And just the fact that you're doing that, it's very generous. And I loved that you called yourself the mystical guide. I think that's beautiful.
go.
Yeah,
Thank you.
especially for people who are coming out of the dark night of the soul and who are on their journey and their path, and you really make a difference for them. So thank you for being here. You
Please.
created the Wealthy Mofos, right? That's a group you're part of.
Yes, I'm part of the wealthy mofos. Yes.
Yeah, I know you said something about bringing abundance to people, so I thought I would just bring this up right away. And you want to
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about who these guys are?
Yeah, those are my two partners. I see you on this side peeking here. Uh, the guy on my the guy to the left of my screen, on my screen, is Kamal. The bald-headed guy is Kamal El Rasi. He's my partner, and then an equal partner. And then the guy on the right of me is Mark Tassoni, and he is also my equal partner. Kamal is a strategist. He has spent about 22 to 24 years in the steel industry. He was a highly placed executive in Republic Steel. Mark Tassoni was an ex-student of mine who we went through some pretty interesting gyrations for. When I met him, he was making about $186,000 a year. Now he makes $100 million. So he does $2 million a week. And because I was part of his mentorship, we have, you know, uh, combined to create the Wealthy Mofos. So
Yeah, that's quite the transformation, making under a million, like half of a million, right? And now making $2 million a week.
yes,
That's huge,
yeah,
huge.
he's got
Yeah,
225 employees now, whereas when he first started coaching with me, he had two. So
yeah.
yeah.
So you brought that transformation, and now he's like your. It sounds like a lifelong devotee and a
he's a
partner, right?
he's a he's a good, very very good friend.
Beautiful, beautiful. I love that. I love that.
Business partner.
Now you're in business, right? And I know
Yes,
you always have a lot of things going on.
yeah.
What is the specific incident that had you want to go on this quest, this entrepreneurship quest, and start into your journey?
Well, Amy, back in my 28th year, I had at that point in time I was, you know, autistic, and I was quite clinically depressed. And I was the son of two Holocaust survivors, And I was raised in pain. I was raised in survival mechanisms. I was raised in, total fear. And took a huge piece of myself uh, to break through that kind of issue. So it took me 23 years of being in deep depression, clinical depression, and I had a mystical experience. So when I talk about being a mystical guide, it's because I have been through this experience of the dark night of the soul. I've been in the place where I was constricted, no awareness, bad body, bad body connection, unable to feel my body, mostly numb for most of those years. Um, I had very bad hearing, and I could only hear about, like a bad cell phone, about every third word of what was being said. And with the moment of my enlightenment, or my awakening, if you will, everything dissolved all in one instance. And that one instant determined the journey for the rest of my life. And it also gave me an inspired mission, and connected me with my awareness, connected me with my with the depth of my love. Because when you build a skyscraper, basically it has to have a foundation as deep as the height. And so when you go into the deep pain of what things are, basically, when you separate and release the pain, what you have from all those years is the wisdom of what those things have taught you. And that's basically what I use now to help bring other people through that same mystical journey, so that they can have what they call either a kensho, which is a temporary enlightenment, or a satori. The Japanese call it a satori, which is a sudden enlightenment where it becomes permanent. So where you are in a steady state of well-being, but a steady state of alertness. So the internal, it becomes much more important than the external. Carl
Mhm.
Jung said that he who looks outside dreams, he who looks inside awakens. And so that has been the process of my life. I mean, we've taught people how to look inside to the right places so that they can awaken into much higher abilities, capabilities. I mean, we come to anything like this, talking with you, for the purpose of expanding our capabilities, right? So,
Exactly. Now, is
so
there a specific, like a specific path you take with each person, or is it like,
well, it's all individual, but yes, it's customized per individual. But it depends on what their background is, and to what extent they have experienced their negativities, their hurt, their pain, their wounded inner children, their wounded parental children, their blames, their guilts, their frustrations, their fears. All that has to do with, there is a path. I guide people on a path. And
Mhm.
that path is very akin to the hero's journey, the same as like Star Wars. You may have the Luke Skywalker path. Basically, you disassociate from everything first. You release yourself from the negativity, and then you get into a new environment. That new environment is a total unknown. That unknown then is a place where you are quite awkward. You don't know anything about it. You encounter a lot of negativity, and you encounter a lot of adversity. But what
Mhm.
happens is that while you're in this journey of the dark night of the soul, you are exploring the depth of your feelings. And when you explore the depth of your feelings, you learn what you're relating to. You become very sensitive to yourself. And from that space on, then what happens is you begin to get competent at
Mhm.
being connected to yourself, which is the higher self. And that sensitivity brings out a beautiful experience for you that becomes the knowledge of your relationship to everything that exists. And that becomes the higher self, if you will. And then that higher self then goes on to now become not only competent for yourself, now you start to become competent in what you do and who you are, and everything that surrounds you in the environment that you're in. It's knowledge versus competency and all that kind of stuff, which is a big difference, distinction. And then when you get out of that situation, now you start to come into the place of where you are awakened, and that awakening must then, by obligation, help other people come through the same journey.
Mhm.
That is what happens when you become, awakened in different terminologies or whatever.
Exactly. I was actually going to touch on that because when you were sharing about it, it does become a responsibility. It does
Yeah.
become like when you become awakened, it's like, wow, now I have these skills, this inner awareness, and these abilities where I can help other people. Um, your story about that reminded me of the Wizard of Oz. Actually, going through that journey, right? Like with Dorothy, and then with the
Yeah.
four other characters, and her having to go through this darkness, all to discover at the end, she's stronger and braver and has more love and wisdom and everything than she had expected. And then she brings back her knowing to her, like she goes into a whole new unknown environment and then comes back. Um, yeah,
Back to where she was originally, which is the source of what she was. So
yeah,
yeah, all great literature is based on that journey, and all great experiences for anyone's greatness is based in that basic path.
hmm,
So that path becomes inspirational, it becomes implementable, it becomes dimensional, and it becomes, the ability to not only elevate yourself in a steady state of well-being, but elevate everyone else around you because of the frequency you are emitting on a
yeah.
continuous basis.
You're a pretty high vibing person. You have a very amazing energy. You really
Well,
do.
thank you very
Yeah,
much. I appreciate that.
you're
So
welcome.
we're
So
all
would
just,
you? Hmm?
we're all just energy and intelligence anyway. I'm just an idea.
Just an idea. That true, true. So Harrison, would you say that you chose your business then, or would you say your business chose you?
Well, my business definitely chose me. I had, it just, when you go through a process of awakening, your mission becomes clear to you. Your inspired mission becomes clear to you. And, it is already something you love. So it's not something that you have to jump into or learn more about. It is you. I mean, my business is me. There's no separation between going to work and what I do at home or anything else. It's part of my conversation to everybody that I talk to. It's part of my activities with other people. It's part of, the circle of people and things that surround me. I mean, it's all me, and it's all, what we share together in terms of our own elevation. And the path of mastery is also self-mastery, is the path of understanding who you are. And it's the path of also that understanding of who you are becomes the understanding of other people as to who they are.
Yeah, that's one thing I've noticed too is that when people understand who they are, they have a much higher tolerance and understanding and acceptance of others as well. Like
When I
as
had my awakening, my IQ probably jumped 50 points. I
Ooh,
was pretty
there you
smart.
go, folks. If you want to be smarter, you just have to go through an awakening.
That's right. So,
Yeah,
I was already pretty smart, but, when I had my awakening, that awareness that I broke into, which was no borders, around me, became 50 points probably higher in IQ easily.
yeah,
So, it's a gigantic leap. So the analogy I like to use is that there was so much energy downloaded into me during the awakening, or at that awakening. It was like standing on the platform where the Japanese bullet train goes by at 200 miles an hour and you try to grab onto it and hold on for dear life. That's how much energy goes by and through you.
that is a lot of energy. That's a lot of energy.
Energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you also. So you are? Would you call yourself like a? Would you be a coach? Would you be a consultant? Would you be a mentor?
All of
Um,
it. All
all
of
of
it.
it. Okay, that's
Yeah.
perfect. And
Yeah.
then how do you get customers? How do you get people to take part in your programs or your events?
A great deal of it is word of mouth for the individual mentoring and coaching. Um, I have very limited classes that I teach, so that's usually between 10 and 17 people, and we do individual stuff for all of them. I do masterminds and I do retreats, and that's that we market. So I have a team of people from India that do all the marketing for me. They're very good and they're very inexpensive. And they are, for example, I'll tell you that there was a contest held in India for 3,500 of the best IT people in the country of India, which is about 2 billion people or something like that. They came out number 4 and number 10. My, their team. So they're the guys who market me. And
Amazing.
yeah, and they're not expensive. They're great guys, and I love them. They're very clear. They're very profound, and they're very good at what they do. So
Nice, nice. It sounds like you have a good team, right?
I have a good team, and I have a good support system for everything that I do. So that's really. And now you're connected to me. So
Woo!
woo!
We talked about some like aligned things as well, right? So I think that's one of the
Yeah,
key things is having those strategic partnerships and aligned people to work with.
absolutely. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So for your masterminds, who are your ideal people who take part or your
I work a lot with high net worth individuals, CEOs, executives, and athletes, and artists and coaches, basically.
nice, nice. I like the mix. I like the mix because it tells a bit about who you are,
Yeah,
right? You got your creative, you've got your performance, you've got that, and you can bring it together.
yeah.
Beautiful, beautiful. So when I know you said you don't do a lot of things with large groups, but
Every
I've
once in a while I do, but not a lot. Yeah.
I've seen you a lot for years on social media, and
Okay.
sometimes you share videos and things, and so that's what attracted me to you first was like your natural down to earth character and your real life that you shared on Facebook. Okay.
I'm
Um,
blushing. No, go ahead.
do you consider yourself an influencer? And if so, when did you know you were?
Um, you know, that's an interesting thing. I don't have much of a self image. The self image is selfless in my particular case. So, whatever happens, it isn't me that's making it happen. It's coming in through source and all that kind of stuff. So whatever happens there, the influences that I have come through a higher power than me. So, I wake up every morning and I'm the luckiest guy in the world. I get to do what I love, and from that point on, I get to inspire other people to do what they love. So
It's
that's
amazing.
yeah.
That's amazing. I'm just starting back into doing interviews, right? And you're the third interview I've done so far, and I'm feeling so connected to my purpose, and I'm so happy that you're part of this. Like, I'm really happy that I get to connect with you and do this.
Meaning and purpose is everything to everyone. So I mean, we are meaning and purpose seeking, entities. So yeah, and as we begin to unravel that in an awareness kind of way, we become luxurious in deliciousness for ourselves and everybody else. We get really delicious for everybody.
I love it. I love it. We're deliciousness for ourselves and for everybody else.
That's
That's so good. So good. So, where would you prefer to have people connect with you?
Well, if they want to connect with me directly, we could do it on my email address, which is proabundance@gmail.com. If they want to connect with me through one of my products, that would be quantumneurogenesis.com. That is a product that I've developed, which is about uh, it entails about 4,000 years of sage wisdom combined with the latest in neurological research. And it is the hero's journey in multiplicity of different ways. And so, we deal with everybody's, identity, their self-image, their belief systems. We keep them from self-sabotaging. We keep them from having limiting beliefs. We break through those barriers. We work on integration so that way everything that we become becomes cellular, and so it becomes us, so it can't be taken away from us.
Mhm.
And then we go through the application of that for ourselves and for other people. And part of what I do, the last module in quantum neurogenesis, is that I teach people to be six-figure coaches in the spiritual realm. So all of that is a self-development or self-actualization process. And then how do we apply that into the world? So if people want to become coaches, if people want to become, you know, uh, practitioners of this kind of understanding and idea, I teach them how to do that using a six-figure template as well. So they can kind of the biggest problem with most coaches who are kind of stepping into coaching is that they don't have the right inspired mission. They have
Mhm.
they have to find the right inspired mission, and when they find the inspired mission, then what happens is, they have to learn how to market it or sell it. And, so that seventh module and I think our seventh or fifth module, sixth module in quantum neurogenesis also teaches you how to take that out into the world. So I send you out as sheep among wolves or something
That's
like
that's awesome. And like one of the things is you tackle the identity first, right?
first.
Because
It must be. It is the
where
first.
most people get stuck is like they can't outperform their identity. You just can't. One of my favorite books is Psycho-Cybernetics
Yeah,
by Maxwell Maltz, right?
right.
And so it's like we can't. If we think we're a certain way, even if we operate a different way and we're trying to level up, if that still is in our identity, we're going to sabotage ourselves and go back to it. So
Right.
I like that you build it on that platform and you get that clear first and the purpose first, and then you can build it on that, because then getting it out becomes a much, much simpler step.
We use the most fundamental creative tools of the universe, and the most fundamental creative tool in the universe are the two words "I am," and that's what God put into the physical plane. And what you attach to the words I am a great sculptor, I am a great business person, I am a great mother, or I am depressed, I am angry, I am unfulfilled. Those whatever words you attach to the words I am are the signal to the universe to bring that into your reality.
Yeah.
So, and whatever you do that over and over again, whatever, if you repeat how depressed you are, if you repeat how hostile the world is, if you repeat how great you're performing in the world, basically, that becomes your reality. So the I am is the identity principle. And when you have an identity principle, that makes you one thing and then disavows everything else. So it's a choice that you become. You become from an I am. And that sponsors your thinking, that sponsors your conversation, that sponsors your actions, that sponsors your ability to receive,
Mm-hmm.
to receive everything, loads of money, loads of love, loads of confidence, loads of, uh, you know, dimensionality, if you will, or whatever other things you may want to, what other trips you may want to go to.
Yeah. Years ago, I had a conversation with myself,
Yeah.
and it was about me being sick and tired. Like I was just I was frustrated and I was sick and tired. And now those were the thoughts that were going over. And so what do you think I got more of? I got more of frustration and more of sick and more of tired. And so I chose consciously to eliminate certain words from my vocabulary. And that was one of the greatest gifts. It's like I didn't end up being sick and tired.
Amy, it's not the words, though, it's the vibration. It is the
Mm-hmm.
feeling of that situation. It is the feeling of not being sick, the feeling of a steady state of well being that you practice, and that becomes the well being of everything you do. So even wealth, is derivative from the word well being, from the words well being, from the old English word for well-being. Okay, so everything comes from that. That is the most creative force in the universe, the I am for human beings. There are other creative forces, but which we're not going to touch on here because we don't have the time or the energy. But the for human beings, I am is central, and that is what creates an instant transformation. So for the people who are watching or listening to this, if you say to yourself, I am happy and exuberant and exhilarated,
Woo! I am
yes,
happy.
you will feel a lightness of being. If you say, I am depressed and angry and disappointed, your body will feel much heavier. So guess what? It feels a hell of a lot better to be light than it does.
It does. It does. It's like you got a thought and there's a feeling that comes with it. And yeah,
That's right.
and that
And
attracts.
most people believe that feelings create thoughts. No, it's the opposite way around. It's thoughts that create feelings. So when
Thoughts
you
do
become
create feelings.
So when you do that first, when you have a particular kind of thought with a desired feeling that goes with that, it'll create your reality. And we talk a lot and we teach a lot about reality creation, and we know how to do that. And that's the trip. That is the trip. That's the trip you go through to come into your awakening.
Yeah. There have been many times that I've had feelings and no thoughts associated with them. And what I've done in those times is,
you, you don't. You just they're not conscious thoughts, but you have thoughts.
oh yeah, there's things underneath them, right?
Yeah.
But it would, I've learned to allow that energy to just go through. right?
Yeah.
To just allow it to flow instead of like trying to fight any energy. Yeah, and then that helps the thoughts become clearer as well.
The energy that passes through every single thing that exists in all of the universes that exist are passing through you. And I'll tell you a secret and I'll tell your people a secret. There is
I
no
love secrets.
there is no out there. There's only in here. So everything you see is an interpretation of
Yeah,
whatever you think is out there and whatever your thoughts are creating as you go. That's how you create your reality. And once you become aware of that, you become deliberate in the process. And in the deliberation of the process, now you get to control not only who you want to be, but what you want to have. And being and having are the same thing. So
mm-hmm.
so we create, this is how we create instant transformation. We understand that the being and the having being the same thing. We simply step into the being, and the being is from the I am, and we create instant transformation. So you guys out there can create a transformation right here, right now, by that feeling of I am lighter, I am happy, I am
Mm-hmm.
joyful, I am abundant, I am fun, I am,
I am in
ridiculously,
flow.
yeah, I'm ridiculously successful.
I'm just ridiculous. Oh yeah, and successful.
Galactic. I am Mr. Galactica.
Love it, love it. Um, so I wanted to, if you have, what's your lifetime goal?
My lifetime goal
What's your lifetime goal that you want to achieve most?
is to just, be ageless and timeless, I guess. Just to deal with as much improvement or as much connection to as many people as I can with the idea of making a contribution.
Mm,
It doesn't matter if it's a big contribution or not, but what I want to do, and it doesn't matter if people work with me or not, they have to find a competent teacher. So everybody has to have a competent teacher to move their way through their difficulties. You know,
exactly.
and if they don't, the consequences of that are that they stay the same or they spiral downward. And if they don't get control of that situation, if they don't find a competent teacher to take them through this journey, basically, it backfires on them, and then you're never fulfilled. But if you find a competent teacher and you go through the journey and you come out the other end of as an awakened being, basically, where you are satisfied and fulfilled and happy and competent and stuff, you become extraordinary, and people understand that. They feel that energy, they feel that extraordinariness. You're great in social situations. Nobody's above you, nobody's below you. We were able to be that inner child that plays all the time and is joyous. We're able to create fortunes, simply because we want to. We are worthy of everything that we desire in this world, and you can create a fortune by wanting to, if you're awake, if you don't block the energy, if you don't self-sabotage, if you don't tune into limiting beliefs continuously. So,
Exactly.
we can eliminate all of our internal mistakes, and by just knowing the path and understanding the path,
Yeah.
and we run through this process of self-mastery, which really is about 5 principles. And once you understand the 5 principles, yeah, you're good to go. You
Five
want to
principles.
know, you want to know the 5 principles quickly?
Yeah, and I want to find out who your teachers and coaches are
Okay.
or mentors. But yeah, tell us and then we'll do that.
Okay. 5 principles of self-mastery. First is to master anything, you have to understand the philosophy of it. So if you don't understand the philosophy of it, you can never master something. So the first one is to understand the philosophy. The second one is to have a vision that serves. So you have to have a vision that serves, that isn't just about you, but that is about other people and other things. And all of wealth is created by visions that serve vast numbers of people. So
Mhm.
the bigger the vision, the more people will support you. Doesn't make any difference what it is, but the bigger the vision, the more people will support you. The third is a commitment to principle. So you have to be committed to principle, a code that you live by, whether it be moral, whether it be business, whether it be, doing things for pets, whatever that ever. You have to have a principle. A principle is something that exists the same way for everybody all the time. So there is no breaking a principle. So the fourth is then the love of the process. When you find something that you love to do, you become really, really great at it. So, you wake up in the morning, you're thinking about it, you're enjoying it, every step of the way is sort of a challenging interest place where you grow from. And the fifth is my favorite. It's a willingness to be naughty.
Love
And
it.
I like being naughty. So, when I was in my darkness, I couldn't be naughty at all. I was just too crazy. But from the turmoil that was going inside of me, when I got liberated, I have so much fun because it's just there is no blockage to my enjoyment.
Exactly.
So it's bliss. So that's the principle. So who are my mentors? Well, everybody who I've ever read, everybody who I've ever been with, every single human being on this earth that I have connected with at any time in my life has taught me something. So there are no there are no accidental connections, and everybody is there to teach you something. Even that butterfly.
I was just going to ask you, what about this butterfly?
Yeah, that butterfly taught me the joy of flittering. I actually I have been, I'm not right now, but I have been a butterfly farmer where we put all kinds of milkweeds out. I didn't chase butterflies, but I wanted the butterflies to come to me. So we planted all the food that butterflies love, which
So
is
nice. So nice.
yeah. And that is Edgar Mitchell. I don't know if you guys recognize that name, but he was the sixth astronaut to walk on the moon. Only 12 people in the world have ever walked on the moon.
Wow.
And Edgar was the sixth guy, and I became friends with him, not deep friends, but we knew each other, and I spent some time at his house. And he had the same awakening experience as I did. When he was coming back from the moon, hurtling through space at 25,000 miles an hour, and he was 120,000 miles out into space on his way back to Earth. He looked through the window of the space capsule,
Mm-hmm.
and he saw the Earth, the moon, and the sun triangulated in the window. And all of a sudden, it threw him into a sudden enlightenment, a gigantic explosion of energy within him.
Wow.
Threw him into a sudden enlightenment. And when he came back to Earth, he started, because he had had this experience, and he became instantly psychic, clairvoyant, clairaudient, clairsentient. And he told the people in Houston to hold up a card, write something on a card. He was communicating with Houston as he was hurtling through space. He said, write something on a card and hold it up. And from 120,000 miles out in space, he could read it. And then he said, write something else, and he could read it again. And he said, write something else, and he could read it. Yeah. So, and when I met him and I was at his house, we compared, these instant transformational lifetime mystical experiences together, and his was very similar to mine. So at that particular point, when he came back to Earth, he started the Institute of Noetic Sciences, which is the premier research facility on consciousness in the world.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah.
I'm so into that stuff. And I mean, most of my enlightening experiences either came from like near death experiences or other people passing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right.
And I love it. I love it. I love that he was able to do that.
Yeah.
What about this teacher? And we can actually put our heads around here now.
It's my friend Les Brown. So yeah.
Why are you strangling him if he's your friend?
Because he deserves it. No, I'm not strangling him. It looks like I have my hand on his throat, but I actually
it looks like you're trying to make him talk.
I have my hand on his chin. I was just smiling. I was just enhancing the upside of his smile.
Oh, you're just making it bigger. I don't know if Les Brown can smile any bigger. He's got like a really huge, like beautiful smile.
Yeah, he does. He does. Yeah. He's the number one motivational speaker on the planet. So, that's incredible. And everybody knows him. And I'm honored and privileged to be his friend. And, that's, I've known him now going on probably 18 years or so. So
that's amazing.
Yeah.
Before we go, because we got a couple questions, I'm going to rapid fire things. Okay.
Rapid fire.
All right. So who are 3 people that you haven't connected with that you would like to connect with?
Jackson Brown. Mm-hmm. He's a great musician, lyricist. Bob Dylan, great musician, lyricist, and probably Elon Musk.
Very cool. Very cool. I think you guys would have some fabulous conversations.
Yeah, it would be fun. Yeah.
Do you make music?
I do. Yeah.
I figured that when you chose those 2 specifically, I'm like, you must have a musical background.
Well, I just it makes me happy.
I
I don't
know,
have,
right?
I've played with a guy from the Almond Brothers. I
Mm.
once in a while I played with him. He was the soloist for the Almond Brothers. And when I played with him, the first time I played with him, he said, "What's your goal in playing the guitar?" And I said, "I don't have any goal. Just makes me happy." so,
Exactly.
so so that's fine, and that was it. So and then he's much better than I am, very precise, very clean in his abilities. But I really enjoy the music, and I love being wowed by people who are great and genius at what they do.
I
So
know. I just love being in the presence of people who are masters in something. And
yeah,
like I love to connect with what they love about it.
yeah,
Right? It's like I can feel their joy through their sharing of their experience. And it's like, wow.
yeah. So
Um,
like in the movie Almost Famous, the interviewer says to Billy Crudup, I don't remember what the name of his character was, but he said to Billy Crudup, "Now, what do you really like about music?" And he said, "To start with, everything." I love that.
just to start the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful. I got two more questions. So the first thing is with one word. Okay, I'm putting together an ABCs of living a great life. So what one word would you say is the biggest thing for you to live a great life?
Love, no
Love.
question. I don't have it hesitate that one moment, not even a fraction of a second. Love is everything. Love is the ultimate of all experiences. It is the highest value. There are four questions in life that are important, and the answer to all four are love. So there's nothing else. What is sacred? What is spirit? What is worth living for? And what is worth dying for? And the answer is the same to all of them.
It's
Love.
love. So beautiful. And the last question is there anything that you wanted me to ask that I didn't ask?
Um, you want, yeah. So, how do you send me money?
How do you send me money?
Yeah, you can ask me how do people send me money? No,
Oh,
I'm only kidding. Only kidding.
well,
I'm just
I'm going to put your email back up there again and they can just PayPal you a whole bunch of money. How does that work?
yeah.
Or how does that
That'd be
sound? I mean,
that'd
here.
that'd be great. But you don't have to. My advice to people out there is get a competent teacher. It can be me or anybody else, but get a competent teacher. And as you go through what you learn, and you're an intense desire to grow yourself, basically you will have every experience you want in life, and you can get instant transformation. It isn't a long-term process the way so many marketers out there tell you you have to go through this, and that.
Mhm.
You don't. It's not information, it's not exercises, it's not even, experiences. You have to just simply be able to integrate the information at one time. We're already giving you the path. So once we begin to draw examples in that, you elevate yourself, and that's an instant transformation. It comes in a second.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I believe you're going to be one of the speakers at the next Creative Collaboration Summit or the one after, right? I think I
Yeah,
set that up with you.
I would love that. Yeah.
Perfect. And for anybody who doesn't know, the Creative Collaboration Summit is where you can come together to have your dreams and goals come together with divine grace in a perfect way
Woo!
by meeting just the right people, getting the right resources, and getting the right knowledge for
Yeah.
your dreams, goals, and projects. So it's a free event. We have it the first Thursday of every month, 1 to 4 p.m. Eastern. And Harrison Klein is going to be joining us as one of the special guest speakers.
And I wanted to congratulate you and thank you for the work that you do. This is it's an incredible opportunity to just put these kinds of things together, and you're really good at it. So I really appreciate it.
Aww.
And the questions are awesome, and you bring out a lot of good stuff. So
Thank you so much. Thank you, Harrison. It's been a pleasure. And I will see everybody. Thanks for tuning in. Tune into our next show for Harmonic Habits and learn how you can level up your success, happiness, and harmony in your life.
woo!